All right, so Israel was given a very flattering spot on the Economist list of best performing economies in 2022. And as we're now summarizing the 2022 economic year, no better person to do it with is economic consumer behavior expert, assistant professor Vili Abraham. Hi, Vili.
Pleasure to be here. Hi.
Hi, Vili. So The Economist says that Israel is the fourth best functioning economy in 2022, which is with no doubt great news, but why does it feel like we're still struggling financially, all of us?
Well, we're still struggling financially for many, many reasons. First of all, the inflation is at about 5.3%, which means that prices increase considerably from month to month. If you look at our electricity bill, which has increased substantially over the last few months, the price we pay for the property taxes, and everything we pay for has become much more expensive. If you look at gas prices, they're expected to increase by about 30 agorot at the beginning of the year. So it looks like the prospects for 2023 don't look very optimistic, I have to say, because we do expect more and more increase in prices across the board, whether the amount we pay for the mortgage, because the interest rates are expected to increase by about a quarter percentage point at the beginning of the year. Look, the interest rate was 0.1% about a year ago, and now it's 3.25%. So it means that we pay much more for the credit that we take out, for the mortgages that we have to pay, and it means that we have less money, less disposable income left for other things. So all of us are really struggling in order to, complete the month without getting into a minus or an overdraft.
It's all getting really expensive, but with the new government being sworn in today, is the new government receiving a generally healthy economy, do you think?
No, we're worse off than we were at the beginning of the year. Look, if you look at the high-tech industry, for example, only in December, about 400 people were laid off. If you look at 2022 in general, thousands of people were laid off, and many, many more expected to be laid off in 2023. It's a global phenomenon. The stock market is in really bad shape. Billions of dollars were wiped out. And until the war in Ukraine does not stop, it looks like it's only going to get worse from here on.
It's not very positive, but as you mentioned, with all the compliments, Israel debt to GDP ratio has fallen this year from 68% to around 60%, and inflation in Israel over the past 12 months has reached a high level of 5.3%. We'll see many angry Israelis after all these changes. Are they right to be, or will we all benefit from it in some way in the future?
Well, I don't think that the average Israeli can really benefit from this global economic data. And the reason is because one of the problems in Israel is that we don't have enough competition. It's a problem. The government is trying to open up the economy to competition, but it's not enough. We need many more players in different industries. And another thing is, I think we also have to change our mindset as consumers. Many times we Israelis in the supermarket, we go for the well-known brands, but I think we also need to go for the private labels, which are of the same quality in most cases, and they're considerably cheaper. So I think if we just make this small change in mindset, we can save hundreds of shekels over a month and probably thousands of shekels in the supermarket over the course of a year.
And Vili, finally, what's the forecast for 2023? Your forecast?
Well, 2023, unfortunately, it doesn't look like the inflation will decrease in the pace of, it's really increasing considerably. In Israel, we're really doing well considerably. In the UK, it's expected to reach 2 digits, the inflation rate. In the United States, it's keeping increasing. And the higher the inflation, the more we'll be paying in the supermarket. And I think that the government will eventually have to make a decision as to whether to increase the minimum wage. But again, if you increase the minimum wage, it is very likely that the prices in the supermarket will increase because, retailers will say, well, now we have to pay more money to our employees, then we have to somehow compensate for that by increasing the prices. So you see this vicious cycle we're in. and it's really difficult to end the cycle. And this is the reason why the United States is doing everything it can in order to stop the inflation, which is really, really high. They don't want to be in a situation where Israel is in a situation where inflation does not decrease. We're always on a high inflation. Prices are always increasing. And in order to avoid this, the United States is very aggressive on interest rates in order to stop the unbelievable hike in prices.
Really, Abraham, thank you so much for joining.
It was a pleasure.